Dealing with negativity and negative comments. Now, yesterday I saw somebody asking a question to other business owners, and I think this applies to everybody, around how do you deal with negative comments? And I thought, oh, well, they're probably getting negative comments. But no, it gets worse. They aren't doing what they would like to do, or what they're thinking about doing, i.e. starting a side hustle or a business or making some more money, because they're worried about the negative comments. Now, there's so much to unpack here. I said, spend $350 with a counselor, invest that into yourself, and go and find out why that's such a big deal for you. It'll be the best investment you'll make before you invest thousands of dollars into trying to start a side hustle or build out a business. That was my answer, which of course is not gonna be engaged with, because that's just way too left field, because people are like, oh no, just get on with it, don't worry about it, etc. Or, reply to them or be real nice and stuff like that. But the real issue that I see here that I think we need to figure out is, why is your goal not big enough that you can accept you will get some negativity? Because there are a lot of hurt people in this fucking country. There are a lot of negative people. There are a lot of people who aren't doing well, and if they see you doing something that they would like to be doing, that they're going to tell you that you're doing something wrong. The negativity is going to come. I get it every week. And the interesting thing is, it's actually good to deal with, because what happens once you start something and once you start doing something and start getting negativity, you actually then get to learn about who you are and how you deal with that stuff. By not getting started, you're worried about something that might happen that you don't even know if it will happen, but then you don't get to learn how to deal with it. One of the best things about negativity and people having a crack at you and things not going the way that you want them to go is that you get the lesson and you get to bank it. And I've had instances in my life where people have come up face to face and they've told me, you're a piece of shit and etc. And you have to deal with that in that time. And part of you just wants to go back to the mongrel and the skateboarding and just go, boom, now what? But you know that ain't the thing to do, and so you've got to sit there and be like, whoa, what is happening? And you've got to start to, think about, like, well, I feel really bad, why am I so worried about this? And you actually get to learn more about yourself. But I think so many of us are so scared to put ourselves out there, take our shot, do our thing, and we need to figure out why that is. That's an individual thing. But without unpacking that and without trying to learn more about it, you're going to let that worry get in the way of goals that you have in your life and doing things that you really want to do. Is that really worth it? Are your goals not that big, or are they not strong enough that they're pulling you to a point where you're like, I'm going to have to accept a bit of negativity? It is what it is. Too many of us, I think, in this country, we get stuck down here and we're like, I just got to play it safe and be like everybody else and buy a property and just pay off the banks for 30 years and just say all the same stuff that everybody does, and I might buy a rental now or whatever. And you can't then go, right, well, I didn't even want that life, or I want something more from my life, so then what am I going to do? So too many people don't even think about what they want to do. The amount of questions that I get where it's like, oh, what should I do with my 20 grand? Fucking invest it in your goals. Put it towards your goals. And then they don't reply, because they're like, oh, goals. What? And they go, oh, there's stuff going on in their head that they're, worried about. It's like, move towards your goals. And just like this person who's scared to start something because they're worried about people leaving negative comments. Holy shit, your goal should be so big, whether it's making more income, looking after your children, getting away from your employment, being able to, pay for a holiday, clear your debt or whatever. The goal should be so powerful and strong to you that you're like, fuck, if I get some negativity, if I get some blowback, like that's just part of it. Like, seriously, do you what are Vodafone doing? Why don't they shut down? Haven't they seen the negativity? How are they dealing with it? They've started and they're rolling through and they're getting negativity. Jason Paris, invests sponsorship money down south, for instance, in the new stadium, but then they're letting people go at the same time. It's like, oh, it'll blow up. It's like, that leader still has to make those decisions. They have to be that person. Some of us have got to start thinking a bit bigger, man. We've got to start thinking like NZX listed CEOs. We've got to think like, how am I going to deal with this? How am I going to figure this out? Too many of us, I think we're stuck in worry about shit that won't even happen, or we don't even know what it's like. Like, go and do it and then find out and then get the lesson and figure out who you are and how you can move past that. How are you going to deal with the negativity? Don't let it not, don't let it, what am I trying to say here? Don't let it stop you, from becoming who you want to become and doing what you need to do. No matter what good you do, you will find that people will cut you down. It's just what happens. It's just part of it. And like social media is so negative, and there's always negativity. And, you know, sometimes I'll look and I'm like, oh, wow, this video is going really good on YouTube. And it's like, oh, there's heaps of people disliked it. I wonder why they dislike it. And then I'm like, okay, well, it doesn't really matter. I just have to carry on. Like, of course, not everybody's going to like you. And I really like to be liked. So I've had to figure this stuff out for myself too. And when someone's, you know, having a crack at me, I'm like, oh man, like I'm out here trying to help people and do different things. And people are like, you know, someone last week's like, you're a fraud. And I'm like, fuck, like, wonder why they think that. You know, what is that? But it doesn't stop me move towards my goals that I have. So first, I think we need strong goals that can then make it easier to let go of some of that stuff, because it's really easy just to be like, oh, I just don't give a fuck about what people say about you. But that's really hard to practice, and most Kiwi people can't do that because we live in a country where that's really hard to do. And so you individually have to figure out, like, what is it that's happening for you that you can't let go of that stuff, but also why are your goals not big enough that you think, who cares? That doesn't even matter. But also, just finally, worry is normally not real. Now, there's a good couple of things that you take with you for the rest of your life. You have tens of thousands of thoughts every day, and 80% of them are negative, and 90% of them are the same as the day before. So guess what? You wake up, you start thinking negatively, and then a lot of that stuff isn't even real, doesn't even happen, and the stuff you're worrying about doesn't come to fruition. And then the next day you wake up and you do the same thing again. Like, once you learn that, and once you see that that's what happens in your life, you realize, like, holy shit, like, why am I worried about negative comments on something I haven't even started yet? That's going to be the thing that stops you. Like, fuck, wait till you learn about cash flow, around taxes, around not getting paid, around sales, around marketing, around validating a product, around actually putting yourself out there and saying, would you like help with this? No, don't need help with that. Oh shit, oh, the market doesn't want it. No, you asked one person. Like, wait till you have to go through all of that stuff. You won't even be worried about the negative comments. So be careful of what your worry is and what you let it stop you doing. And be careful that you don't understand it. It's the same shit as yesterday. And it's the same shit as the day before. And it's the same shit as the day before that. And a lot of it's negative. And think, you know, like, what if I just understood that, and then you could move away from some of that, and you had big goals that pull you forward, and you're like, this really means something to me, I'm going to do it, I'm going to clear my credit card, I'm going to stack my first $10,000, I'm going to make my first, you know, $100 outside of working for an employer or whatever. It's got to pull you, and it's got to be really strong. And then what am I worried about? Is that real? Is it negative? Yes, it's negative. Is it real? I don't know. I don't actually know yet, because I haven't done the thing to know. And what's the biggest downside risk of that worry even being real? Oh, someone leaves a negative comment. Nothing. So we carry on, okay? Hopefully that helps some of you. Please don't let your brain, you know, stop you from becoming who you could be, especially around finances and things like that. And, you know, doing better for your family, for your community, and being able to donate and be able to contribute more on things. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who would like to do that stuff, but they can't afford to do it because they're still stuck here. Their goals are too small, their thinking is too small, and they haven't controlled their brain. So then they're worried about shit like, oh, what if someone leaves me a negative comment? How will I deal with that? Fuck me, you know, worry about getting one first. See you next time.